So Andrew has his eye on two properties.
Morning to you, Sean. That appears to be the case. The sticking point up until now here has been this ironclad lease agreement here at Royal Lodge, which Prince Andrew has. That goes through until 2078. But according to media reports, he is now ready to reach a compromise and downsize considerably. The Sun newspaper reporting this morning that he has a couple of different conditions to leave this Royal Lodge property, one of them being, and perhaps the most significant condition being, according to the Sun newspaper at least, that he has a royal residence for himself, but as does Sarah Ferguson as well. The suggestion being that Andrew is negotiating at the moment to take on Frogmore Cottage, the 5-bedroom cottage formerly the home of Prince Andrew and Meghan, Prince Harry rather, and Meghan, and also wants Adelaide Cottage for Sarah, both properties on the grounds of Windsor Castle. Whatever the details.
Wait. Why is Prince Andrew paying virtually no rent on a 30-room Windsor mansion? And where did the money for that massive early 2000s overhaul really come from? Because if the public purse is anywhere in the picture, we deserve straight answers. Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on Royal Lodge, the hidden clauses, the peppercorn rent, the power plays inside Buckingham Palace, and the question that refuses to die: who actually footed the bill? Here's the story. 2 decades ago, the Duke of York signed a 75-year lease on Royal Lodge, a sprawling, storybook estate tucked inside the Windsor grounds. A one-off lease premium in the low millions. A reported £7.5 million in refurbishments. And from then on, rent set at a token peppercorn per year. Symbolic, not substantial. Legally tight. Optically explosive. Because as his public standing collapsed, this sweetheart arrangement kept humming along in the background like a quiet scandal on a timer. Fast forward to right now. Pressure is peak.
Scandal.
Andrew has not been far from scandal for a number of years, but at the moment it has really kicked up a gear. That's a variety of factors that have all sort of combined to make this a really dramatic escapade.
The king wants the lingering controversy settled. Courtiers are meeting, phones are buzzing, and the mood has shifted from "let's hope this resolves itself" to "enough, tie this off." You can feel it. Senior aides know the headlines only get worse the longer this drags. And while the lease looks bulletproof on paper, palace politics and public patience don't honor fine print forever. So why is this suddenly urgent? 3 intertwined threads. First, optics. A 30-room residence for an ex-working royal with a 1 peppercorn rent while the public faces a cost of living crunch is a PR catastrophe. Second, control. Royal Lodge is on sacred real estate. The crown can't just Airbnb it, but it also can't let it sit as a symbol of business as usual. Third, money. The lease.
King Charles is reportedly holding closed-door talks with senior aides over his brother's peppercorn rent and tenancy at Windsor. Prince Andrew is facing mounting pressure to move out.
Contains a clock. Leave early enough and there's a partial refund. Wait too long and that figure tapers to 0. Every month that passes narrows the path to a clean exit and raises the stakes of a messy showdown. Let's talk numbers, because that's where this gets thorny. The Duke reportedly poured close to 8 figures into renovations and upkeep. If he walks before a certain date, there's a refund clause, hundreds of thousands, not millions. But he's said to believe that doesn't scratch the surface of what he's put in. And that's the standoff. A crown estate run to Treasury rules can't just write big discretionary checks without igniting a bonfire of public outrage. So, unless a private source makes up the difference, the arithmetic simply doesn't work. And that leads to the question that keeps ricocheting around dinner tables and comment sections alike. Where did the big refurbishment money come from back then? Inheritance? Savings? Another source? Some reports over the years have poured cold water on the idea of a major legacy covering the whole thing, which only drives curiosity higher. When public trust is brittle, unexplained finances don't sit quietly, they grow teeth. Inside the palace, there's a strategic map on the table. Option 1. Persuade him to leave voluntarily, honor whatever the lease strictly requires, and stop there. Option 2. Negotiate a bespoke settlement from private funds, not public, to make it palatable, and draw a hard line that this is the last concession. Option 3. Relocation. Move him to a smaller, quieter residence, Sandringham, Balmoral, a tucked-away grace-and-favor cottage, far from the spotlight but close enough to family to keep the peace. The obstacle? Preference. He's reportedly not keen on remote exile in Norfolk or the Highlands. He wants Windsor or London. That's where proximity collides with affordability and optics. A smaller home on the Windsor estate means actual rent. Could he or would he pay it? That's not a theoretical question anymore. Meanwhile, 2 names hover over every meeting: Beatrice and Eugenie. Their father's story is radioactive. Their lives shouldn't be collateral damage. Sources say the King and the Prince of Wales want any solution that protects the cousins from splashback. Translation: resolve the lodge without sparking a domino effect through other royal apartments. And then there's Sarah Ferguson, still living at Royal Lodge with her ex-husband. For years she's framed the house as a sanctuary. Now it's a chess piece. If he goes, does she go? Is there a separate arrangement? No one wants two simultaneous crises. Palace thinking appears to be, solve Andrew first, then handle Ferguson. Triage that. Let's zoom out. The monarchy survives storms because it understands narrative, and right now the narrative is unforgiving. Royal Lodge has morphed from a residence into a symbol. A peppercorn rent when people are choosing between groceries and gas. A long lease that looks like a perk from another era. A renovation whose funding still sits under a cloud of unanswered questions. If you're running the firm's reputation, you can't let that symbol harden. You have to change the picture, which brings us to that frantic, bizarre media moment. Cameras racing to Windsor on whispers of a breaking announcement, and then nothing. A non-announcement that only deepened the mystery. Was a statement drafted and pulled? Was a deal on, then off? Whatever happened in those hours,